Yo, what's going on, people? How's everyone doing? Today's Thursday. I've just finished another public presentation talk with service providers about Buvidal, the new harm reduction tool amongst methadone and Subutex. Buvidal is this injection that I've been on, and today I done one in Birmingham last week and done one today in Cardiff, got one in the northeast in a couple of weeks time. So it's been really good to speak to loads of providers, and it's been an experience, and obviously I'm learning more and more how to speak in front of large audiences basically. Yeah, it's quite surreal, and basically why I've come on today is I just wanted to say a little story. I spoke about it a little bit on the presentation today, and it's basically around ways I used to try to get clean, the different ways my family tried to help me get off heroin, and how lucky we are with this new drug Buvidal and how it helped me. And it's basically about the time my dad took me to London to pay private for a Naltraxone implant. And basically what Naltraxone is similar to Buvidal, but it's basically a total blocker, similar to a pregnancy rod a girl would get to stop being pregnant. You can have it as an injection, which is like a rod, or you could have the injection like a fluid, and they last up to a month. You can get some that last 6 months. But basically it's all about people who have tried to come off heroin, and you give them this blocker. Basically, if they try and use, it's not going to do nothing, similar to anti-abuse with alcohol. And this was earlier on in my addiction. I must have been about 3-4 years into it, and I'd been on a methadone script, didn't do nothing. And my mum and dad didn't really know much of how to get me clean, so they were looking up online of things they could get, and they found this thing called Naltraxone. Naturally, they tried going to the services I was picking my methadone up from. They were like, we don't do this. This is something that's private, costs a lot of money. So, you know, by all means try it, but we don't do it. So my dad found a place in London, in Belgravia, the Stapleford Centre. And basically it cost, I think it was 15 to 2,000 for the implant, and they had to pay for a deposit. And I'll never forget it, basically, without really looking too deep into it, but what it was I had to have been clean 5 days to have this injection. So, like, you know, they thought, like, my dad and I was like, look, you've got to be 5 days clean, then you go on this injection. So basically what that means is I've got to go and do a rattle for 5 days before I even go on this injection, which was not going to happen. Like, I weren't ready to do a 5-day rattle. Like, you just don't. And as an addict, it's one of the worst fears ever, is going into withdrawal. You know, I've done many rattles, I've done many clucks in prison, hospital, on my own back, but this was just a time I weren't ready. And it's going to lead on to my point of, you've got to be ready. Don't do it for any other person. So obviously my mum and dad are looking around for these places, and we stayed up in this hotel. And on the day of I took heroin with me, without my parents knowing, obviously. We stayed up in this hotel. In the night we went to a nice posh restaurant. My dad's buzzing, I'm going to get clean. And the next day I had a little bit of heroin left before we went, and I didn't feel too good. I started spewing up in the hotel, and my dad's like, well, why are you spewing up now? I thought you've done your rattle. I thought you've done your 5 days. And I was like, no, I've been using. He's kicking off, but he's like, we're still gonna go. We're gonna try it. It should work. If it's 4 days, I told him I was like not full 5 days, just a couple of days. Like, so he's like, we're still gonna go. Remember then we went to London, he bought me loads of clothes and stuff because they were like proper buzzing that I was going to get sorted. We went to Harrods, we went to Harvey Nicks and all these other places. And then we went to the building, and when we got there they said, sorry Mr. Mace, your son still got heroin in his system. Obviously my dad didn't know, but I had a boot in the morning before we went shopping. So it's not 4 days clean, it's not 5 days, 3 days, 2. This is like, I used drugs 6 hours ago. And yeah, my dad lost the deposit, and the guy felt so bad. He said, we've never had this before. We've never had someone come all the way up to London to get it, and the patient's not even a day clean, and he'll be really ill if he has it. So what they done was, my dad lost the deposit, but they gave us oral Naltraxone tablets, and they said, right, when your son is definitely 5 days clean, give him the oral Naltraxone, yeah, let him stay steady on that for a couple of days, then call us, we'll get you back up here, we'll sort you out, a discounted price on the next implant. Of course, that day never ever came. It was a long drive back. It was quite awkward. I felt bad on my dad, but as soon as I got back home, scored again, carried on my day. I was never interested in getting off. And then I remember, obviously, my mum was fuming when we got back. Well, how come he ain't on it? I had to explain it. So they said, well, in 5 days' time, you'll be taking this tablet. And I remember I just carried on smoking, made sure I had a boot every morning when I woke up. On the 5th day, I wakes up, I had a boot. My dad's in work. My dad's phoned my mum and said he needs to take that tablet now. So my mum's, they probably knew I was smoking. They could smell every time. They could hear the foil rustling. They could hear the lighter chipping away when I'm in my bedroom booting. So she's called me, Cullen, it's 5 days now, you've got to go and take your tablet. And I was like, yeah, whatever. So all this time that, like, they said I had to be 5 days clean, I never really took in how important it was to be 5 days clean. I thought I could just take it, and I might feel a bit uncomfortable. Well, anyway, I went downstairs, I got the tablet off my mum's staring at me, watching me take it. I took the tablet, and within, I would say, 5 to 10 seconds of swallowing that tablet, projectile vomiting. I've shit my pants in the living room, shit my pants. My mum's like, get in the fucking kitchen. I ran into the sink, I've spewed up. And I remember spewing up the Naltraxone tablet with probably a 10% of it dissolved. So it's still in tablet form, dissolved a little bit. It's got a bit smaller. And yeah, I was fucking ill for 2 days. I went straight upstairs into bed. I shit my bed. I'm not even moving. Like, I'm shitting the bed. I'm spewing with a bucket on the side of me, but it's going all on me. I still had a bit of gear left, so I tried smoking the gear, but it made me worse. And I could never describe the feeling, but it's like someone stabbing you, but from the inside trying to stab out. It was like I was like The Exorcist, or like off Alien, where Sigourney Weaver and the fucking alien comes out of it. I felt like that, palpitations in my stomach. And it's crazy to think that just like a 10% of a tablet would do that to you. And I remember my mum and dad just had enough of me then, and they sent me on my way up to my grandmother's in Northampton, where I stayed up there and caused carnage for a couple of months. But there's two things to learn from there. And number one is, only you will get clean off drugs when you're ready. Not doing it for anyone else. Not doing it for your family, but for you. That's the only time. And secondly, it's listen to the professionals. It's listen to the doctors. It's listen to your drug workers. It's listen to your fucking parents. When they said you had to be 5 days clean before coming up, it wasn't because they were just like trying to tell me off and punish me. Right, stop your heroin 5 days before, because we're going to put you on this. It's because, like, you're going to be ill if you don't. It's the same with the Buvidal now. We tell people, if you're coming on Buvidal, make sure you come in a couple of hours withdrawing, or the day before. And people don't do it, and then they can't go on the Buvidal, or they get ill when they've had the Buvidal. We want you to listen, like, do you know what I mean? And that's one thing I learned, or two things I learned, is you'll never get clean until you're ready. But also listen to the professionals.